Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting here for a slightly different kind of video, and it's kind of a video I've decided to film at the last minute. This isn't as planned as a lot of these extra videos that aren't match reviews are kind of put out. I didn't put as much time and thought as I usually do, but I did want to make this video really quickly because it's something that's kind of been playing on my mind, and you'll probably guess from the title, I'm talking about the CUTV program, or the CUTV scheme app, whatever you want to call it, that the club's been doing since the start of this season, I believe. Now look, I put a tweet out earlier today, pretty much just saying how, there was an interview by Tom Piatek put out there, and it was behind a paywall. It was for CUTV subscribers. Which, look, I think with the interview being as important as it is, it shouldn't be behind a paywall. That was my initial thought, and it kind of led me down a kind of mental wormhole where I started to really think about the whole scheme as a whole. And look, I like the PSX. I obviously, it's not even for the kind of behind the scenes things, like the new boxes, the executive boxes, the work they've done to the stadium infrastructure and stuff like that, the new training ground. That's not even the big thing for me. The big thing for me is that the debt has been cleared off, because I feel like people forget how big of an issue that was, the pure paid debt, and that's been resolved almost immediately when they came in, and that's what I'm most thankful for them for. But I think it'd be remiss of me as a kind of fan channel who, I'm always going to say my opinion, even if it's about people that I like, because I like the PSX. Honestly, they've been on this channel before, they've been on the podcast before. I like the PSX. I think they've done their very best. Things on the pitch haven't worked out, and I think they do have to take a lot of the blame for that, particularly with the Mike Williamson appointment. I think that's where they got things the most wrong. They've tried their best all of that, and overall I think in the long term they're right for the position they're in. I think they are brilliant owners, and I think we're lucky to have them. Now, one thing I will say is when they came into the club, and you can see it on this very channel, you can go back and watch the interview with Jenna Piatek and Nick Damasi, you can hear them say, and it was a big part of the interview, and it was a big part of the whole project when they came into the club, and it was fan engagement, fan opinion, putting the fans first was a really big thing at the forefront of their scheme. Now, I think the CUTV thing is a massive step in the wrong direction when it comes to fan engagement. Just for a moment, I want you to think about what the old YouTube system had when all interviews were put out on YouTube. Pitchside Blues was there, all the match highlights, everything was on the YouTube channel. Now, I have a very biased perspective of this. I have a kind of invested interest in YouTube, if you want to say that. I spend a lot of time on it. I put everything that I make onto YouTube. YouTube's been a system that it's been a platform that I've used for a long time now. This channel's about 5 years old now. It's a platform that I'm obviously going to be a big fan of, because it's the platform I've always used. It's the platform I've always been a huge fan of. It's the platform that I've kind of grown up using. But even with that, I will say what YouTube has is accessibility. And I don't just mean that in the sense that it's free. It's a platform that every single person that I've ever met has used. Everybody's used YouTube. If I was to ask you to find me somebody who doesn't use YouTube, you'd probably have to go to some tribe in the Amazon rainforest or something. It's such a universal, worldwide system and platform that every single person knows how to use, young or old. It's a very accessible, universal platform, and if you as a club want to engage your fans the most, YouTube is the system you use, because it's like I've just said, it's the most accessible. It's the platform that the most people can use. If you think about your old grandma that's 70-year-old, 80-year-old, or something like that, and you think, even like the older generation of people can use YouTube. You know, if you look at my YouTube analytics, my biggest audience is people over the age of 60. You know, it's so accessible for all ages, YouTube, and every single element of the fan base. That's why my channel has been doing as well as it has recently. And I think it's no small part down to the fact that a lot of the Carlisle stuff has been taken away from YouTube. And now that people can't get official Carlisle United content on YouTube, and with YouTube being the system that everyone uses, people have to come to fan channels like me, The Last Ditch, CUO4 and the rest. And I think it was a huge step in the wrong direction to take the content away from YouTube, because, like I said, it's so accessible. And if fan engagement and fan opinion and fan involvement was such a big part of the whole Carlisle United project when the PTX came in, it's a really, really poor decision to take content, official Carlisle United content, away from YouTube. Now, add on top of that the alternative is now putting previously free content behind a paywall on a separate, newly made app exclusively for Carlisle United content. I don't have the viewing figures for CUTV, but I would guess that it's less than 25% of what they were getting on YouTube. I would put good money on that. And it's purely for the fact that a lot of the older generation don't know what they're doing when it comes to this kind of thing, when it comes to a whole, you know, just the sign-up process and everything like that, and setting up monthly payments and everything that's involved with that. It's extra admin and it's extra effort, and it's a subscription system, of course. You know, people like to say that it's only £5, and when I put that tweet out today, that seemed to be a lot of the arguments. It's only £5, but it's not only £5, is it? It's £5 a month, £60 a year. You know, if you talk about the length of this channel over the last 5 years, if CUTV was in operation for that long, that's 300 quid, just like that. There's just taking out your bank account for stuff that should be free and it is otherwise free, you know. And it's not just that, is it? You know, look, I'm quite lucky. I'll be honest. I could probably get away with paying £5 a month. Like, I could do that. I don't, out of principle, more than anything else, because I already put enough of my own money into the club. But just think of the amount of money fans spend. Think about, you know, if you pay the cheaper alternative to buying a ticket every game, which is a season ticket, and it's like, what, 300 quid at the start of the season, you know, which the PTX have put up since coming into the club as well, I might add. You know, you pay, what, 300 odd quid for a season ticket, then, you know, that's not even taking into account travel. You know, I don't live in Carlisle. I'm Cumbrian, I don't live in Carlisle, I live on the west coast, so it's an hour's drive just to get to the match every week, and that's not taking into account away tickets, travel to away games, because, you know, petrol isn't cheap these days. Then you've got kits. You know, I know there's a lot of people that buy both kits every single year, and that's what, 35 quid a kit? That's another 70 on top of that a year. You know, so that's it adds up. Plus any kind of match day programs that people buy, plus any food or drink that you buy at a game every week, plus, you know, any other additional merch that you decide to spend money on. The fans pay a lot of money at the club, is what I'm trying to get at. You know, and they will spend this money, and I think the PTX know that. And so much money goes into the club from fans, and obviously, because that's how the club survives. It's not going to survive without fans putting money into the club. But it seems so disingenuous, and it seems so, I don't know, so backstabby that the fans are putting so much money at the club already, and you've sold a part of the fan engagement that you have value so highly for an extra £5 a month. And obviously I know that'll add up with people, but, you know, let's just say that 1,000 people sign up is, you know, you've sold, and you've sold a big part of fan engagement, because that is how the vast majority of people got their Carlisle United content, through the YouTube channel. You've sold that for an extra £5,000 a month. And that just doesn't sit right with me. That to me goes against the whole idea of the PTX coming in and saying that fan engagement and fan representation was so important. It goes against it massively. It's completely contradictory, and it's, you know, Obviously, I know it's optional, but it's something that was free beforehand, that's been taken away, that's been sold. You know, you've sold a piece of the Carlisle soul for this extra bit of cash a month, which you might need for the ridiculous player contracts that players are on now, and on the ridiculous wages they're on, and the ridiculous amount of time they're signed up for. But look, going back to the original point, an interview from the club chairman about why the club's facing back-to-back relegations in 2 years shouldn't be something that the fans have to pay to listen to. It's wrong. It is just wrong, and I feel like it's such an up yours to the fans. And look, when I put that tweet out, I've got kind of second-hand replied by Jenna Piatek, replying to my tweet saying, you know, almost kind of making fun of the whole situation. And I like Jenna, I like Nick, I like Tom, I like, you know, the other Tom and the rest of them, but it's just not a good look, and I feel like a lot of people brush past it, and I feel like it's something that's kind of been bugging me since the whole thing came into place. But yeah, let me know what you think, because it's not a one-sided debate. You know, a lot of people disagree with me, as the replies to that tweet suggest. But I want to remind people that some people aren't in the same position. Not everyone is in the position where they can keep affording to pay more money every week for the same things that they've been accessing for years. Even if it is just £5 a month, that adds up very quickly. But yeah, I'm done. I'll stop complaining now. Let me know what you think. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, please, and in a bit.